So back in the day, I was a hoodlum, you know what I mean? I was chilling in the hood with my homies, kicking back, grab the OE40 OZ. Me and my homies with the purples. And you know we had that Levi jean with them khakis on the side dickies. Me and my homies were fly as bees. Well, growing up, in my teenage years, I've done a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of crazy stories. So long story short, me and my friends, there was a handful of us, up to 10, 15 at a time overall, that we kind of hung around all the time. After school, we would take the bus, do our thing. When it came to the weekend, Friday, head out, come back home. I'd be gone all weekend basically and just show up home Sunday around the afternoon, early evening or so. And then long story short, basically I was always out and about. Basically I was a street punk, riff raff, yeah. But this is a series I want to dwell in these stories, not only for the wider audience, but as sort of a backlog for memory, just in case, as you grow, these things become insignificant, and the other things that are more cherishable and more memorable stick in your memory, and these things kind of get swept aside. But starting off with this one, so long story short, kind of give you a back story synopsis, kind of a quick one. So the group of us, we would always hang out. There was a mixture of girls and guys, primarily guys. And we would call ourselves the Rat Pack, kind of nicknamed after of course, Frank Sinatra and that clique, the Rat Pack. Though we weren't as slick or sleek as them when we dressed, and even our mannerisms more specifically. But long story short, we would always hang out, do our thing, partake in, OEs, other things, and, the purple, without going into detail on that due to it being YouTube and whatnot. But we would always hang out, do our thing. And at the core of it, there was about 6 or 8 of us that would be consistently us. So imagine, we're staying over at a friend's house, and there'd be at least around, on average, 5 to 6 of us sleeping in one room or hanging out all night or whatnot, passing out more so. But there was an instance in the neighborhood, as one of my old friends would always call it, the old neighborhood. And we would always go through it, be around it, or in it, or hang in that neighborhood. And one time there was this older gentleman, and he was very old, maybe in his 60s, so not old, but older than us, of course. He was rude as heck, man. He started, saying certain things, basically putting that on us. And at the time, we were around 15, 16 years old. And one moment, he came up to us randomly out of nowhere. This is the first interaction we had with him. He came at us, and at this time, it was just 3 of us. So this girl and another male friend of mine. And we were hanging out, and he came at us, and he started screaming like this: "Get out of my goddamn neighborhood! Get out of my goddamn neighborhood!" And picture this, us, all 3 of us are on the age of 15, 16, and this man has no shirt on. He kind of looking back at it, he was intoxicated in some capacity. Now, I don't know if it was the brew or the purple, but for sure he had a little bit of a buzz on. This man is screaming like that just constantly and going behind us, like following us. And we're like confused, what the heck's going on? And then he starts rambling off and, "Get out of my goddamn neighborhood. I know what you're doing. I know who you is." And we're so confused. Imagine us laughing at the time and kind of egging him on at the same time. So long story short, we kind of escaped from him. He kept following us, and so we had to start running, kind of thing. He was threatening to call the cops on us, yada, yada, yada. And we didn't know what was going on. This is the first time we seen him or heard about him. And fast forward, a handful of time goes by, and we notice where he lives. We realize where he lives. We see him because we're hanging out in that neighborhood. Some of us, a good chunk of us, lived in that neighborhood or around that neighborhood, but we primarily hung out in that neighborhood. Then some time goes by. I don't remember how long. We see where he lives. in the townhouse condominium or whatnot. And along the way, prior to seeing that, I noticed there was a huge dead jackrabbit. Now, I don't condone doing this. You got to remember, I was a teenager, a very lost teenager at that, so I don't condone doing this. I'm just bringing up these memories. Some of you might share similar hoodlum vibe memories and tropes that you went through or did yourself. But prior to seeing or coming to the point where we did see where he lives, we came across a huge jackrabbit. Now, I'm not even exaggerating this, not one bit. The jackrabbit must have weighed at least 20 plus pounds. I have never seen a rabbit that size in my life, and it was, not with us. So I decided, I came up with the idea, hey, why don't we grab it, put it on his porch and then ring the doorbell and run away. So we were trying to figure out, nobody wanted to pick it up with our bare hands. We didn't have any sort of gloves. So, of course, everybody got in on it, the ones that were there at the time. And we figured out a way to do it. We grabbed the shovel, kind of scooped it into the shovel and carried it and threw it at his door. And it kind of made a sound, but at the same time, we rang the doorbell and we ran away. But you know how kids are, young teenagers, adolescents, and that whole trope that, the criminals always come back to the scene of the crime. And especially at that age, being young and dumb and foolish, we did come back. Basically, we went around the corner, ran away, came back, and he was still, of course, standing at the door. And at the same time, we come around the corner back. It was like a minute or two after we did all of that, rang the doorbell, hit it at the door, rang the doorbell, ran away. We came back around 2 minutes later. So you can tell how dumb we were. And he's still standing there. He's going off, God dang it, this neighborhood has gone to shit. This neighborhood has gone to God dang it. Now, for some reason, he didn't remember us from previously. And this was maybe weeks, if not a couple months after the fact of that initial interaction with us. And we were acting like, oh my God, what happened? What's going on? And he keeps carrying on and on. This neighborhood has gone to shit. This neighborhood, I'm getting the hell out of here. There's no normalcy here anymore. And I'm not exaggerating it. That's how his tone was, but he was belting it out of his chest louder than I am right now. It was so hilarious, laughing. He literally was standing on the porch, and we were rambling on with him, acting like we didn't know what was going on. Basically, we came back acting as if we were just passing through. And at that time, there was at least five or so of us together as a group. And man, I'll never forget that moment. At least for now, that memory still remains. Growing up as a hoodlum, you know what I mean? Many more stories if you want to like and subscribe. Listen to this BS, especially if you're that age. Don't go through that. Life's too short. Yeah, I look back at it, it's funny. But realistically, logically speaking, man, that was so ignorant. Didn't make any sense. It was degrading to the jackrabbit. Yeah, sure, it passed. It wasn't with us on this plane of existence, but it was still disrespectful to that creature, to nature, and to the universe, God itself, and of course to that gentleman, even though he was basically not all there in a sense from our first interaction with him. But nonetheless, it's funny, yes, and I don't regret it generally, because at the end of the day, nobody was truly, truly hurt. But looking back at it, could have I done better? Of course.